All right, welcome back, everyone. Prime Sports Media here. My name is Andrew Hernandez here, and today we're breaking down some Week 1 matchups out of the Western Big Six. Our last video, we did the Big Northern Conference, so today we're doing the Western Big Six now. Our next one, we'll probably do the Three Rivers next, or the NUIC next, so we're going to kick off right now. So last year, the Western Big Six has a couple teams that made the playoffs, like Sterling, Golden Warriors, the Moline Maroons, Quincy Blue Devils, and all that. This year, out of the Western Big Six, is normally, since 2019, we had 8 teams once. So, when the Western Big Six first started out, the conference, there were 6 teams. Quincy, Galesburg, UT, Moline, Rock Island Alman, and Rock Island. So, it was just 6 teams for a while until 2019, when they added 2 new teams, and those were Sterling and Geneseo. So, in the beginning of the year, Sterling also won the conference their first season in the Western Big Six. So, the next season, so last year and the last 2 years, I was going to say, Moline has won the conference 2 times in the last 2 years. They've produced it in their sports, they have been dominating their conference, like volleyball and basketball too. As you all know, it's not even basketball season. I'm still going to mention it because Quincy also dominated also in basketball as well. You all know. Last year, as you all know, Moline also, I believe, dominated the conference in almost, I think, every single sport. In football, they also went into the second round in the playoffs when they played Yorkville. In volleyball, they also won a regional title last year. If you follow boys basketball in the Western Big Six last year, also Moline also dominated the conference again in boys basketball and also went on to a state championship team. And also, that was their first one. Also, this year, we'll also see at Iowa. If you're watching Iowa basketball, if you follow it, you'll be seeing Brock Harding and Owen Freeman. They're also from Moline, also this season. And also, it was a great run that they had last season. So I can't wait to see what's coming up during basketball season as well. And also, we have heard a lot about Quincy. One of their top players, I think Bradley Longcore, also is coming in this year out of the class of 2025 as the 4th ranked player and prospect in the state. Enough of that. I don't want to talk about basketball right now because it's not even basketball season, but currently, right now, we're getting ready for football. So this Friday marks week 1 and Thursday night and also Saturday night as well. And Saturday afternoon, you'll be watching a lot of football, high school football. And also next weekend is a big weekend, even though it's Labor Day weekend, because there will be college football's kicking off next weekend. And then in 2 weeks, the NFL was also kicking off its season as well. So we're going to kick off our first game out of the Western Big Six. Our first team is United Township. The UT Panthers kick off the season with the LP Cavaliers out of LaSalle, Peru. LaSalle, Peru is out of the Interstate 8 Conference. So my pick in this game, I'm going to go with LP this one. I think they can win this one. UT also coming in as a young program last year. I know one year they won the conference. One year, I think for the first time in like 20 years, I think they won it. Or, I don't know. All right, next up we have Gomer versus Geneseo. The Maple Leaves last season also made the playoffs. They went down to Southern Illinois to play, I think, Cartersdale, I think it's called, the town. So they lost in the first round as well. Geneseo, another program getting back to the dominance that they are having. So Geneseo, I have to go with the Maple Leafs. I think that's one of the teams to watch out for this season. I think Geneseo, they can make a run in the Western Big Six and also as well. Our next game is Sterling and Metamora. So, as you all know, a lot of people say Sterling versus Metamora. So the Redbirds are the dominant programs, one of the most dominant ones out there in Central Illinois. So the Redbirds have been to a lot of state title appearances. As you all know, like a lot of people knew it. Because, last year, Metamoras right now, I know right now they're starting to get dominated in boys basketball as well. Because a lot of people, I think the one year when they became runner-ups in boys basketball, a lot of people knew Metamora as a football school because they've been to the state championship a lot of times in the sport of football. So last year, these two teams met in the sport of football. Not sport of football, sport of basketball, the Free Sectional in Galesburg. Sterling, they put up a fight versus Metamora. They fought to the very end because the final score, they lost by 2, but 70-2. Because a lot of people, a lot of fans thought that they were going to pull the upset. Because they knew coming in that they were going to be the underdogs, you know. Some people, you love an underdog story. All right, I know Sterling last year made the playoffs. They beat Harlington Heights, St. Friar, Chicago Ghoul, I think. Another one, they had to go all the way up to downtown Chicago. And last year, they made it all the way to the quarterfinals, losing to Sycamore 28-0. I think Sterling, they have high expectations of program. But I think the Golden Warriors this season, they're going to left off like where they were last season. I got to have Sterling win this one over Metamora. Right, next up, we got Moline, the Maroons taking on Glennsvar North. So the Maroons are another team that has dominated the Big Six for the last 2 years. Even though the first year they won it, they also had a football player that's currently playing at the University of Illinois, and that's Matthew Bailey. If you follow Illini football, you'll see him a lot this season, probably play. So last year, I think Glennsvar North made the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs, but also Moline made the playoffs as well. In the first round, they beat DeKalb, and also in the second round, they lost to Yorkville in the second round. So I have to go with Moline on this one too. Next up is Rock Island versus Manuka. So Manuka is another playoff team also as well, I think, in the second round. So Manuka last year made the playoffs. So in the second round, they lost to Palestine. Also there, Rock Island also haven't made the playoffs, I think, since 2021. I know in 2019, I know they made the playoffs, as well as I believe they took on East St. Louis as well. I remember that game as well. So Manuka comes in. I got to go with Manuka this one. So I think Rock Island, they can build up the season, but you never know. All right, next up is Quincy and Quincy Notre Dame. So the Quincy High Blue Devils last year made the playoffs. They lost in the second round as well. So Quincy comes in. I got to go with Quincy this one. So this year out of the Western Big Six, so it's going to be 7 teams. There will be 7 teams this season, because normally a lot of people say it's 8 teams. The only reason why it's 7 teams because, for one, the only team that is not going to be in this season is Rock Island Alaman. The Pioneers will miss this year's football season, but we're hoping that they'll be back next season as we get to cover Rock Island Alaman as well. So who you all bet who's going to win the Western Big Six? So out of the Western Big Six, who you guys think is going to win it in sport football? Are you guys going to go with the Moline Maroons, the Sterling Golden Warriors, Geneseo, the Maple Leafs? Anything you all want. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the updates during the football season. Also, we'll be doing a lot of highlights and clips from games as well this upcoming season. We're going to try to hit as many as we can. And also make sure to like the video, subscribe for more of this to see it, and I'll see you in my next video.